Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be called Waxies Gone Wild, and it's a Q&A collaboration with a few of my friends in the wax world, and we got together and decided to go ahead and do a video to answer some questions. I think we came up with 26 questions is what we came up with, and so there's quite a few. Sorry about that. I will try and go through them as quickly as I can. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 7 of us. So quickly I'm going to name off everybody, but I am going to have their channels linked below. But it's Angie, whose channel is called Wax Goddess, Maite, which her channel is just her name, Maite Salati, Kimberly, who goes by Kim Hearts Organizing, Angela, who is My Clothes Smell Like Candles, Stacy, who just started her channel and it's called Caffeine and Fragrance, and then Liz, who is Notorious Liz 54. So all of them are linked below. I'm subscribed to all of their channels and I love them. I'm super excited that all of them are making videos again. I think Liz has been making videos pretty consistently, and Angela has been making videos consistently, but like Kim, Maite, and Angie all kind of got out of it for a while, so I'm happy to see that they're back making videos again. So these questions mostly surround wax, but at the end there are some kind of more personal questions. I mean, nothing super personal, but not wax related, I guess I should say. So I am going to go ahead and jump right in. And I do have some things in front of you so you have something to look at, because I do not show my face in these videos, so I didn't want you guys to get bored, although you may still get bored. So anyhow, the first question. When you first started buying wax, what were your scent preferences and how have they changed? So I do think when I was buying wax, I loved straight up fruity scents, like straight up fruity. And now I find that I think I don't like just straight up fruity if it's too sweet. I actually prefer like fruity bakery rather than just fruity scents. And then also I'm really starting to like certain like fresh scents, kind of like ocean air type scents, not really laundry, nothing too floral, but any kind of like, you know, like windswept shores and ocean air and salty sea air. I really love those scents as long as they're not too floral or too clean or have any laundry notes in them. So that's definitely something new. I also go through phases where I'm really craving certain scents. Like when I first got into wax, I was in love with lemon, and then I really fell out of love with lemon, but now I'm back in love with lemon. So it changes, you know, for me it changes all the time. So I find that I go through kind of phases like that, but I think that's mostly how it's changed. And you probably noticed that with my filming, right? Do I have any other collections? So I have a huge scrapbook collection, and I recently have been recording in my scrapbook room. So like you see the ribbon here, and then this big thing over here is like a scrapbook toolkit holder organizer thing. So the ribbon is for scrapbooking, but I also do, I guess, paper crafting, so card making. I also go very in depth with wrapping Christmas gifts and stuff like that. I've done invitations, kind of crafty type stuff, but my scrapbook collection is massive, and I have probably spent just as much on scrapbooking, if not more, as I have on wax. The sad part is I haven't really scrapbooked in quite a while, because it's something that, to me, I really have to be able to set aside a lot of time, and I feel like it's not, because I have to think. I'm a type A personality, total type A. So doing something like scrapbooking, which is creative, is actually takes like thinking for me, and it's not necessarily relaxing. I enjoy it, but if I'm really tired from work, I tend not to want to do scrapbooking because I want to just turn off my brain completely, and it's not something I feel like I can do and turn off my brain, if that makes sense. Why don't you show your face on videos? Because I feel like you're not here to see my face, you're here to see the wax. And I feel like I hate the way I look on video, I hate the way I look in pictures, so I just don't want to show my face. I think if I felt like I was beautiful, I would definitely probably show my face, but I feel like it's just nothing to look at. And not trying to be mean to myself, that's just honestly why. Number 4, what piece of advice do you wish someone gave you when you were a wax newbie? So I've been into wax is it going to be 3 years this fall? 2013 is when I started, like fall 2013 is when I got into wax. So I still, compared to a lot of the people out there, I still feel like I'm a newbie sometimes. Now, I pretty much know the ropes for buying from popular vendors and the do's and don'ts in the wax community. So I'm not a newbie from that perspective, but I do feel like that there's a lot that has changed in the wax community that I haven't felt because I'm one of the people that came in probably as it really started getting popular. But things that I wish people told me, and I had a hard time thinking about this one, but really, I feel like I wish people told me to try scents and to try vendors on my own to form an opinion versus relying solely on what other people say. Now, there are definitely some vendors that I would never purchase from just based on stuff that's happened and extreme drama that vendor has just completely turned me off. But when people have like a favorite vendor or a vendor that they're not that fond of, I feel like you kind of have to just go out and try some of them yourself, because there are super popular vendors that just don't fall on the top of my list. You know, I have bought from a little bit from them, but they're just not favorites of mine. And then there's also scents that I think I would absolutely love and I end up hating. And then there's scents that I think they just don't sound good to me, so I never buy them, but then I'll get a sample and then I fall in love. So I think just trying to really explore for yourself to find what scents you like and what vendors work well for you in your home is really important. And then also melt a scent before you assume that you won't like it based on cold sniff. So I'm definitely guilty of thinking I don't like stuff on cold, and so I never melt it, and vice versa, thinking you'll love something on cold, but then you melt it and you're not that excited about it. So you kind of have to melt stuff to know what you're going to think of it, right? And I think that's, oh, you know, last one, just because other people absolutely love a scent or rave about it, if it's a scent or a scent category that I know generally I don't care for, like banana, okay? Banana, like I'll melt a little bit here and there, but for the most part I'm not a banana fan. So, but if people rave and rave and rave about a banana scent and it's super popular from a vendor, if I don't like banana, I'm not gonna like that scent. And I think that's something I have to learn for myself, because I see people rave about certain scents from certain vendors, but then I'll try it and I'm like, it ends up, I don't like it because it's a scent that I don't like. So I have to tell myself that, remind myself of that, because I want to buy into the hype and buy stuff that other people love, you know? Okay, I need to make this faster. Number 5, what is your favorite and least favorite thing about the wax community? So my favorite has to be that I feel like I've just gotten to know so many people in the wax community that are amazing, amazing people that I consider my friends. Yeah, I only talk to them occasionally, and I met almost none of them in person, but it's a neat place to like get together and chit chat with girls that love, mostly girls, some guys that love something that you love, you know, and it's a place that you can share your wax obsession with, and that's what I love. And I love just wax in general. I love the way it smells, and I have a routine about filling my warmers, and since I've gotten into wax, I've never not melted wax. So I just love it. What my least favorite things are, it's probably, well, this one's a love-hate relationship, is the drama that exists, and I think that exists even outside of the wax community. I hate it just because I feel like sometimes it gets out of control, and people can get hurt feelings, and I tend to be someone who likes to be more neutral on stuff, you know, and sometimes I think things get out of hand, so I feel bad for people sometimes. Sometimes I think people are ridiculous, so they deserve it, but, you know, and then but I love it because it's entertaining, you know, so that's that whole love-hate relationship. I do feel like sometimes it gets out of control, but it gives me something to read at night sometimes, so, yeah, that's that. And then, one of the things I hate, too, is when people block people on Facebook. I don't block anybody, and if someone was actually harassing me, like truly harassing me, I would block them. But I feel like if I don't like someone or I don't get along with someone, I don't want to block them because I want to know what the hell they're saying about me. So I want to see what they're saying. I know there's people that have me blocked, and I don't know why, but I think there's a handful of people that have me blocked because there's conversations I'll see occasionally where I can see people responding to other people and I can't see that person actually posting. So it's just, I think it's stupid and childish. And then, oh, one of the things I hate too is when vendors get involved in drama. I feel like as a vendor, you own a business and you have to present yourself that way 100% of the time. And it's just like me with my job, and I deal with clients, and with those clients, I have to act professional. If I go to a conference, I'm not going to get drunk and make an ass out of myself. And I feel like vendors should be the same way when they're in wax groups. And so I feel like most of the vendors that I buy from and that I love maintain professionalism all the time. But there's a handful that are out there that I think just rubs me the wrong way, and I think it's not very classy. So that's one of the things I hate too, but whatever. Number 6, if you could make a change to wax vendors, what would it be and why? Definitely I'd lower their prices. I feel like since I've gotten into wax, prices have gone up a lot, probably about 25 cents per ounce. When I first got into wax, the highest you would pay was about $1 per ounce. Now it's like $1.25, $1.30. So I feel like wax is getting expensive, but I think it's a supply and demand thing. But if I could, I would lower the prices. And then I think my favorite opening style, so I wish, aside from vendors that are open for customs all the time, I love full customs. But for vendors that are in high demand and just can't do that, and I'll say like Vintage Chic Scents is one of them. I wish, or even Candles from the Keeping Room, although I love buying from Candles from the Keeping Room the way she is where they would do a full, like an opening, kind of like Super Tarts actually, where they would have limited scents that are open. They're open for a few days and you can buy as much as you want, because then you can get what you love and you don't have to stress about whether or not you're going to get something in your cart and whatever. Now, saying that, Vintage Chic Scents has improved because she's making so much more wax, so I'm usually able to get what I want. But that's just, you know, I wish we could just buy unlimited quantities in the sense that we want when we want. That would be my preference. Number 7, how often do you change your wax? When I am at work during the week, I pretty much just change it once a day. But if I'm home all day, so typically on the weekends, sometimes on the weekends, I'll change it 2 to 3 times a day. I like a really, really strong scent throw, and if it starts, you know, mellowing out, I'll change it. And I also get tired of scents really fast. My favorite vendor. So I have to say the one vendor that has been on top consistently for me is Candles from the Keeping Room. I feel like I love her ordering. I don't like the rush aspect of it, but she's easy to order from. In my opinion, if you pay attention to her Facebook group, she's very easy to order from. She has a cart hold, so once it's in your cart, it's yours. She has a ton of stock, a ton of variety of scents, and great prices, and she's an absolute doll. I love Carol, so she's by far my favorite vendor. My favorite warmer is the Blue Glade, just because I feel like the 20-watt hot plate, sorry, I'm shaking the table because I'm moving. The 20-watt hot plate for me is the warmer that works the best with all wax. At least with all the wax that I melt, I find it's just the one that makes my wax perform the best. And I'm specifying Blue Glade because the cream ones, I do have the cream ones, but I find it doesn't perform quite the same as the blue one. I don't know why. The blue one is not the prettiest to me. I feel like there's tons of warmers out there that are way more beautiful, but they just don't perform as well. Let's see, the first vendor that you purchased from. So the very first vendor I purchased was the Bathing Garden, but at the time, I mean, she has a longer tat, so it took a while for me to get that first order. So the first vendor I ordered from and actually received my wax was Tiffany Candles. Number 11, why did you start doing YouTube videos? I found the wax community through Kirby's channel, which is Vintage Chic 1927. She's the owner of Vintage Chic Scents. At the time I found her, she hadn't started the company yet, but I saw her videos and I was like, what is this amazingness that she's talking about? And then I found a bunch of other YouTubers, and I was just watching, like I was addicted to watching YouTube channels, and I always have been. I've gone through phases where I was watching scrapbook videos and scrapbook hauls, and then cooking videos and baking and just all kinds of stuff. So when I found wax, I absolutely fell in love, and I think it was the first thing that I felt like, I can make these videos and it doesn't take talent. You literally just show people what you're doing, like what you bought and then what you're melting. And it's not something that requires a lot of editing, or any editing, to be honest. I don't edit my videos. You'll see that. I don't, you know, I will stop and start my camera while I'm filming and then merge all those videos together, but I don't edit. It's something for me that's just fun, and doesn't take a lot of time, and I don't know, I enjoy it. So number 12, what are your favorite scent categories? So I think my favorite scent categories are definitely fruity bakery, and anything mixed with lavender, pretty much, and then anything mixed with strawberry. So love lavender, love strawberry, and then fruity bakery. Oh, and then minty scents. I love, love, love minty scents, and I will melt them year round because I absolutely love them. Do any scents remind you of your childhood? So it's weird because I know scents like definitely are those, create strong memories in a lot of people, and there's definitely scents that remind me of certain things, but there's only one that reminds me of childhood, and it's actually not a good one. It's tea berry bubblegum. I haven't really seen vendors do that recently, but I did get a tea berry bubblegum scent from the Bathing Garden probably a couple years ago, and it's basically a minty bubblegum scent, and I hated it. I hated it because it reminded me of Pepto-Bismol, and Pepto-Bismol was when I had the flu as a kid, and I hated Pepto-Bismol, so it tastes horrible, and so when I smelled that, it reminded me of the flu. So that's the only thing I can recall that takes me back to childhood, but it's just not a good memory, unfortunately. So my top 5 vendors is the next question, number 13. So Candles from the Keeping Room typically stands around number 1. The others are Vintage Chic Scents, Tiffany Candles, and Glitterati, which that's why I have kind of them out here. The other one too right now is Sassy Girl Aroma, but I do find that the top 5 will change sometimes. I feel like Candles from the Keeping Room and Tiffany and Glitterati are probably always up there in my top 5 because of various reasons. How easy it is to get, or just the overall performance. Like Glitterati is the hardest wax to get, but is one of the most amazing performers for wax out there. Like her wax is ridiculous strong. So that is why she's a favorite for me. Let's see. Number 14, who do you think are the most underrated vendors? I would probably say Sugar and Spice. I don't have any of her wax sitting in front of you, but I feel like her wax performs really, really, really well, but you just don't hear people talk about it. And you can do custom blending and do as many scents as you want, and she has a really quick turnaround, so I'm just surprised that more people don't order from her. Scents that I dislike laundry scents, chocolate scents for the most part, anything that is really strong floral, and anything that's like a cleaner, like a lemon cleaner, or like that Fabuloso scent that some people love. I hate it. And anything too perfumey. Number 16, if you could meet only one that's my sloppy writing. If you could melt only one scent forever, what would it be? And so I couldn't pick one, but it would either be something with lavender in it or something with strawberry in it. Those are like my 2 favorite scent categories or scents out there. So I had a hard time choosing. I don't think I can choose just one because it would be lavender or strawberry or peppermint. So I didn't write like peppermint down on my paper, but probably one of those 3. And if I had to pick just one, I don't know. Maybe minty scents like peppermint, not spearmint. I like spearmint sometimes, but anyhow. How have you seen the wax world change? So I think I mentioned already quickly that I got into wax in the fall of 2013, and I feel like it already had started changing a lot by the time I entered into the wax world, because I do see people post often about how they miss the days of when vendors were open all the time and not so much drama and everyone felt like they knew everybody. And now I feel like there's definitely not really cliques, but groups. Like you have segregated groups that I feel like there's groups of people that all buy from one particular, like certain vendors. There's other groups that buy from other certain vendors, and they're in their own groups in Facebook. So I kind of already entered the wax community when that was all, I think, forming. But I think kind of generally what I've seen, I feel like as prices are going up, they're getting more and more expensive, and vendors are getting harder to buy from. For the really popular vendors, you have to be on your game for the most part in order to get them. So that's kind of what I've seen, but I still consider myself somewhat new. Do you have a dream job? To be independently wealthy so I do not have to work. Honestly, so the job that I do now is one of the most well-suited jobs for me as far as my personality and what I'm good at. So I do, if you don't know, forensic accounting and fraud investigations, investigating white-collar crime, basically. And I work for a private CPA firm, but we get hired by companies or organizations to investigate internal fraud, basically. And a lot of times we will refer cases over to the district attorney for prosecution, or over to like the FBI or something for criminal, for criminal matters. And the type of work we do is very data heavy, usually, and a lot of analytics. And I'm a type A personality. I deal with a lot of numbers, and I think it's well suited for me. Now it stresses me out, so if I didn't have to work, I wouldn't. I always think ideally I would love to do something that involved traveling around the world, but because I love to travel, but I feel like anything that became work I wouldn't like it. I love to travel and have fun and be free and not have that requirement of having to do something. So if I had to write about traveling, I would enjoy it. If I had to take pictures, I would enjoy it. If I had to whatever, so I just want to be independently wealthy. That's basically it, not have to work for a paycheck. The second part of that question was if there's any past jobs you want to talk about. Not really. So I've pretty much been doing the same thing my adult life. Number 19, since you've been buying vendor wax, what's the longest you've gone without buying? I think it's been about a month, maybe 6 weeks. So not very long. I have a problem. Do your friends and family know about your wax addiction? Yeah, pretty much. My coworkers do too, because all the wax I buy, I have it shipped to my office. So the front desk girl, she'll come and bring me a box and, oh, you have a smelly box. And even the post office guy, because obviously he's always delivering to the receptionist at my office. And one time he came in just recently, he came into the office, I don't remember why, and he happened to walk by my office. And I can't remember what happened, but he's like, oh, you're the one that has all the smelly boxes. I was like, yes, that is me. So it's just kind of funny. So pretty much everyone knows about my addiction. Do they know how bad it is? I don't know, because not many people know how big of a collection I have except like family and friends that come to my house. And then do my friends and family know about my YouTube channel? That's the second part of this question. My family only, and limited family. So my mom, my sister, a couple of cousins, and my nieces and nephews know about my YouTube channel. I only have one sister, and I have 5 nieces and nephews. They all know about my YouTube channel. Friends know I have one, but they don't know what it's about, and I haven't given them my name, and so far as I know, they have not found me. Coworkers do not know I have a YouTube channel at all. So yeah, I didn't want my family to find out either, but someone in the wax world gave me up, someone who knows my sister. And if you're watching this, I love you, girl, but it's funny. She put 2 and 2 together when I would buy wax and say, this is for my sister. And then she would see my sister like, look what I got. Yeah, so she figured out and told my sister. What is something, number 21, what is something most people don't know about you? So okay, so now we're going into non-wax stuff. This is a question I put on the list, but I had a really hard time coming up with an answer. I love asking people this question, but I have a hard time answering it myself because I feel like I'm a pretty open book and there's not really much that people don't know about me. But I guess for people that are watching this video, probably the thing that you don't know about me is I used to own a retail business with a friend, and I did it on the side. I've had my full-time job, and a friend and I decided to invest in this like food retail business. It was called Dinner My Way, and it was one of those concepts of you go in and you prepare a meal that you then take home and freeze, and then you can cook it throughout the week. So it's supposed to kind of take out a lot of the prep work involved in having to cook. We bought the business from someone else, and then the 2008 recession hit and it just tanked. We could not keep it. We were dumping so much money into it, and so we had to close it and sell off everything. It took all my money that I had in my savings account at the time, and yeah, I was on the verge of having to file bankruptcy. I literally, it was bad because shortly after, I think we had the business for about a year, and then I got laid off from my job. So I was at a point where this business was sucking me dry and I had no income. And a week before I was ready to walk in and file bankruptcy, I got a job, and so that was just a difficult time. And I feel like I'm still overcoming a lot of that. And because I had a ton of debt related to the business, but I was really, really, really trying to be able to pay it off myself and not have to file bankruptcy. And I'm glad I didn't. And I've recovered for the most part and have no debt now. I haven't had debt for a long time. I have a car payment, but I don't consider that like real debt because most people have it. No credit card debt anyways, right? And no loans. So anyhow, that's probably something that none of you know about me, or none of you knew. Now you know. Who is my current star crush? So I'd have to say like Leonardo DiCaprio has been on my list forever, pretty much since he made Titanic. As a 38-year-old woman now, I look back at Titanic, he looks like a little kid, but I love him. I feel like he's just an amazing actor, and I just think he's hot. He's hot. Others that I love, though, Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling, I absolutely love. I think they're both hot. And then there's a show called Younger. I think it just finished its second season not too long ago. And it's on, what channel? It's on like a basic cable channel. I don't remember. I DVR everything, so I don't remember channels. But there's a guy in it, the guy that plays a tattoo artist who plays the girl's boyfriend. His name, I didn't know who he was before the show. His name is Nico Tortorella. I don't know. He's some guy I'd never heard of, but he is freaking hot. Like, I want to date him hot, okay? He's really, really cute. But anyhow, making myself choke here. Okay, number 23. My biggest wax world pet peeve. Excuse me, sorry. Let's see. I think my biggest pet peeve, because it just drives me nuts when I see it or hear it, is when people use the word smells instead of scents. And so, I will explain. So if I say, this smells like lavender, that is an appropriate use of smells for me, right? But if you say, I love lavender smells, I hate that. To me, smells is a verb, and so you smell something. But lavender smells is not a noun. So to me, that is just the most improper use of the word. If you're talking about something like that, like lavender scents, bubblegum scents, you don't say lavender smells. Or when people post on Facebook, I love lemon smells. I hate that. I hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. So, and I see it all the time. And the other one is when people call stuff flavors when it's scented. And I've even seen this like years ago, but in a Bath & Body Works printed ad, they like use the word flavors instead of scents. I hate that too, because if you taste it, it's not going to taste that way. It's going to taste like wax and fragrance oil. So you're supposed to use smell. So I hate when people say flavors, but I don't see that as often. What do you do besides melt wax? I work a lot sometimes. I travel. I try to travel as much as I can with friends. If you are a friend with me on Facebook, which only a handful of you are, but if you are a Facebook friend, you probably see when I post when I'm traveling. I love, love, love to travel. And then pretty much go out with friends and hang out. I'm not an athletic, sporty person, so I don't do stuff like that, but I love to hang out with friends, go out for drinks, and travel when I can. Favorite TV shows and movies. So favorite TV shows right now are The Walking Dead, The Big Bang Theory, and Bates Motel. I love those 3 shows. Those are my favorites that I've been watching since the beginning. Movies. Okay, so I'm not a huge movie person. I will watch movies and I will love a movie at the time, but it's very rare for me to watch a movie over after I've seen it once. And it's actually very rare for me to go to the movie theaters, even though I have tons of free movie tickets that I get from work. But the one movie, if it comes on TV and I catch it, I will watch it, is Titanic. I absolutely love that movie. I don't know what it is, but I love it. So I have to say, I guess that's my favorite movie, but it's old. And the last question, I can't believe this is a half-hour long. Would you ever consider pouring wax for yourself? And I will say I tried it, and it sucks. And I honestly tried it not to sell it. I tried it when I first got into wax because I was buying up so much, and I was like, oh, wouldn't it be amazing if I could just make my own and melt it and give it as gifts to friends and family? And it's a lot of work. And it's something that if you're gonna sell, you obviously have to do a lot of testing and all of that. And then actually trying to make it myself with the fragrance oil and stuff and making different scents and mixing them in my house, my stomach couldn't handle it. So like one of the weirdest things, when I get vendor boxes, like a package in the mail that's full of wax, when I have all the scents mixing together like that in a confined space and it's really strong, sometimes it turns my stomach. It's really, really weird. So when I was trying, I did it one time, bought some wax and some fragrance oils and made a bunch of scent shots, which I did end up giving to family. It turned my stomach. I couldn't handle it. So it's not something I can handle, and I know it's hard work, and it's just not something I have an interest in doing because I feel like I wouldn't make as much money as I do in my current job. So, and I would have horrible customer service because I would get bitchy people if they complained. So, anyhow, those are all the questions. Oh, pet peeve. Let me go back to that. Speaking of making your own wax, one of my biggest pet peeves right now is everyone who thinks they can make wax and sell it. There are so many new vendors popping up, and I'm just like, all right, people, we have enough wax vendors. Stop it. So you notice if you follow my channel, I very rarely haul wax from a new vendor. It's been a while. I just don't buy from new vendors because I just don't, unless I hear all my friends raving and raving and raving about someone, then I'll finally break down and buy. But I have no interest in buying from new vendors, and I kind of stick to the ones I love. You know, I spend enough money with the ones I love. I don't need more. So anyhow, that's it. If you guys sat through this whole thing, thank you so much. If you have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to post those below. And I will make sure to link all my friends' channels down below as well, so you can watch their collaboration videos. And thanks again. Bye.